Welcome to the Jeremiah Show. My very special guest today is our good friend Jason Spicy G Goldman. He's back and he's got a new podcast that really great. There's 5 episodes right now. They're short form, Jason, right? So
Yeah.
they're easy to digest. You get right to the point and you give a great tip on the music industry and various topics. But then you also give a personal story, somewhere that a lesson that you learned coming up in the business. Really great podcast. It's called the Juno podcast, and you can get new episodes every Thursday. Easiest way to stay up to date with everything, just subscribe. He's also on YouTube. It's a podcast for musicians who want advice and strategies on navigating the music industry. It's really good. So that's what we're talking about today. Jason's coming back to tell us all about the podcast. We're going to go through a couple of them as we did in the first segment, and get uh, delve into it just a little bit more. Welcome back, Jason.
Thanks so much for having me again. Always love coming here.
I always love having you. Love to see you. And I'm going to go see you live. I'm going to give this out real quick here. And we're going to talk about it at the end of the break here. At the Herb Alpert's Vibrato Grill and Jazz, you've got a night of the American Songbook. Jason Spicy G Goldman and the 17 Big Band. It's on Thursday, March 28th. Go and get your tickets now. I'll give you all the information at the end of the show, but you can go to Herb Alpert's Vibrato Grill and Jazz, the best jazz club in Los Angeles. Thursday, March 28th, again at 6 p.m. There's 2 shows, right, Jason?
2 shows, 7 p.m. and 9:30 p.m.
Yeah, so don't miss it. And I do it now because it's going to sell out. They always do. So go back to the podcast, the
There.
Gino podcast. How is this different from what you do as a producer? Are you finding similarities? Or are you finding new muscles to exercise?
Um,
Creative muscle.
the only difference is, with producing, it's like I'm always working with an artist and working with their vision and then me helping enhance their vision. And, in this one, I'm telling you some of those trials and tribulations that I went through. Um, with some of these. So funny enough, this is probably a pretty good segue on this most recent episode. It's called "Sometimes You Got to Dive In Head First."
First, yeah, I was actually
Uh,
going to bring that up. So perfect.
yeah, it's basically my first experience when I producing an EP for an artist, and I made
A
it.
well-known artist, right?
She was actually a brand new artist.
Okay.
Her name's Nikki Haley. She was fantastic singer songwriter. Um, but that was not my lane, and I talk about this on the pod. I mean, again, I come from jazz, instrumental music, even jazz vocal music. Especially a lot of your listeners will probably know if they've heard in the past. Like I do a lot of stuff for Michael Bublé, so it's that kind of croonery, orchestral, big
Hmm.
band stuff. But this particular EP was for a singer-songwriter in that world. So I really wasn't even that familiar with that world, to be quite honest with you.
So
And
how'd you get the gig? Why'd you take it?
um, the artist, actually, she was in high school. I was the director of jazz at the LA County High School for the Arts at the time, and this artist was a senior actually in high school, and her dad was actually like a kind of a big movie guy. Um, and she was looking to do some songs, and her dad had been. We were talking, I think, after a concert one night, and he was just like, "Yeah, she's interested in doing some songs." And I said, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yeah," and in my head, I was like, "Man, tell him that you produce music," and I did. Because I was working on it at the time. Obviously,
Yeah,
I'd
you got to
only been
start somewhere.
yeah, I'd only been producing for a year, and most of it was like on my own. And then I was like, hey, let's just go for broke and be like, man, I'd be interested in working with her. So we went for it, and he sent me some of her demos, and I really liked it. And then we did an EP, and there was a couple of huge mistakes I made in there.
Yeah, you talk about that. You go into detail about the huge mistakes you made and that almost killed the project, you said. So what were those mistakes?
One of the big mistakes is the bass player. I didn't. So the band was consisted of drums, bass, and two guitar players, electric and acoustic guitar. And I had told the cats, okay, we're gonna go into this major recording studio, and again, I'm pretty well organized, and I knew the process. It's just that I hadn't done the process like David Foster or someone yet. So I tell everyone, okay, we're gonna go in the studio, we're gonna record these 5 tunes. We're gonna start at whatever it was, 5 p.m. and that's what we're gonna do. The problem is that we're recording the songs. We had a lot of technical issues in the beginning with the board and everything. That it's pretty common, but it's a lot more than usual. But then we only recorded like one tune, and it was already like almost 2 hours into the session. And the bass player literally says, "Man, we need to get moving because I need to leave here in an hour." And I'm thinking to myself, "Wait, what the hell is going on right now?
Oh,
Like,
no.
don't do this to me right now." And the long story short, you can listen to the longer portion, but I don't think I ever gave him the end time of the session. So he assumed that it was a 3-4 hour session, and I thought he just knew that we were going to go all night. Don't ask me why I thought he was going to go all night till we got it right. I don't know why that was, but that was my first thing. And then the second major mistake on this is that, you know, in writing, the studio owner told me a price for the studio, and I thought she meant for 2 days, which I was like, yeah, that'll fit in our budget. But she told me, she was like, no, that's for one day.
Oh,
And
goodness.
we got in a big argument on the phone, and she basically was like, man, pack up your shit and get out. Like, it was like that type of thing where the pressure was like, oh my God, like this is
Oh,
like,
man.
yeah, it was like one of those things. It was like I should have gotten an email that had the start and end time, right? I
Sounds
should.
like a movie or
Yeah.
something.
My parents were just listening to the podcast, and they're like, man, we were like sweating through this particular episode.
Well, everybody's got to start somewhere. Everybody's got to learn their lessons along the way, and unfortunately, and sometimes it works out really great, like it has for you. But it's been tough, right? It's been a hard. There's been some lessons learned and hard earned, but you've earned your success. Or do you think being organized is one of the keys to your success, Jason?
I think it's both. I mean, again, definitely being organized and professional, of course. Like that's like my main thing. I mean, yeah, I'm talented in music, but there's a lot of people talented in music, but it's about going for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, the episode is called "Sometimes You Just Got to Dive In Head First," and you got to be willing to be uncomfortable sometimes and just be like, "Hey, we're gonna do
Let's
it."
make this work.
That's right. And it's a learning experience. And then, I have a bunch of episodes, of course, that show some of my successes. And this actually, in the end, turned out to be a success because the EP was really, it's still to this day. I just went and listened to it the other day. It still sounds really good. And I'm still like really proud of it. But Hard Knocks, of course.
Yeah, but you never let them see you sweat, right?
That's right. That's right.
And I do have to take another break real quick here, and we'll be right back. But does I wanted to ask this final, does it do you, do you listen differently now, and do you find yourself really getting the details right from the from the studios and the other people that come in that you've got to deal with besides from your musicians? Did it help? Did that experience help you, I guess? Did you learn from that in some way?
Oh God, yes. I mean, obviously getting everything in writing, even email is the fact that I didn't do that was really a major major issue. So of course, everything now I'm super detailed about giving everyone what times, start times, end times, the price you're going to be paid, everything, so that when there's any a question ever, it's like, man, just you have to do is read it and I can show them and it's over. So
Yeah,
musically, I
man.
still listen to it and I'm like, it still sounds great, and I am very critical of it. And I'm like, man, it still sounds great.
What's the album? Let's send everybody to go
It's
check it
called
out.
"Feeling Better" by Nikki Lang, 5 song EP on Spotify. So I would check it out if I were you. It's great, great songwriter.
Yeah, perfect example. And maybe we'll even play a little excerpt of that during the show here so we can see an example of what you were going through. All right, so we're going to take a real quick break. I wanted to tell you again, get yourself to Herb Alpert's Vibrato Grill and Jazz for a night of the American Songbook featuring Jason, Spicy G Goldman, and the 17 Big Band. His big band there Thursday. It's March 28th, 6 o'clock. And the second in Bel Air, second show is at Jason.
9:30.
9:30.
Yeah,
I think the show starts at 6:30, right? And then the second is at 9:30.
yeah. So
Grammy Grammy-winning record producer, arranger Jason Spicy G Goldman returns to the vibrato with his 17 big band for a night of the American Songbook Classics, featuring some of the best vocalists in music today. Jason Spicy G Goldman, of course, is known for his extensive work with Michael Bublé, but he brings his swinging big band to perform his energetic and vibrant arrangements, featuring vocalist Olivia Morale and Natalie Hannah Mendoza and special guest Brenna Whitaker. You don't want to miss this show. Book early because it always sells out. Go to Herb Albert's Vibrato Grill and Jazz. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere with more lessons learned from the road and the music industry with Spicy G Goldman, our special guest today.